just about that action, boss. I'm just about that action. I'm just about that action, boss. You ready to go get it? You just about that action.
Welcome back to the Sports by Schmucks channel. We're here with our, I guess, annual Super Bowl podcast.
Yeah, we're up to annual now at this point.
We're up to annual, which is great. I'm just going to give you the floor for 2 minutes or so because you're the only one of us that actually predicted the Super Bowl correctly by picking the Seahawks.
Oh man, a few words, but I was right. I've been right since the beginning. That's why you should read me. The end.
Oh.
I don't like loading.
Well, you deserve to. I mean, I've given you the opportunity now to get it out of your system, so you don't just keep bringing it up the rest of the forever.
No, it's okay. I have $20 coming to me from a fellow coworker that says I was right, and that makes me happy enough.
All right. Okay. So, actually, before we talk about, first question, actually. Which was better last night? Bruno Mars or the actual Super Bowl game?
Oof.
Because I'm going
depends.
with Bruno Mars. I'm going with Bruno Mars.
Well, it depends. Are you a Denver Broncos fan or a Seattle fan or someone who just wanted to watch the game and get drunk?
I'm going to say somebody who has no rooting interest in the game and just wanted to watch the Super Bowl as a football fan.
Then beer is definitely the best option for that. It was definitely probably Bruno Mars. I was actually very impressed.
He was very, very good.
Like I'm not a huge Bruno Mars fan, but he has some catchy songs. But he rocked it on the drums at the beginning and just like a grenade at the end. That was pretty fantastic.
And the best part was he showed that he's actually a live performer
and not just singing. And like when he was like dancing, shuffling the field, like, yeah, good for you.
And he wasn't terrible like the Black Eyed Peas were a few years ago, where they just were awful.
Staged
live.
And then the Chili Peppers. You know, I could have done without the Chili Peppers.
I didn't mind it, but at the same time, it was nice to see.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I guess that's enough about the halftime show because, you know what? I was kind of probably tuned out at halftime.
Are you sure? Because that might have been the best part of the game.
That's true. But there's only so much we can talk about Bruno Mars being outstanding.
That's true. But yeah, that game, I actually missed the first 10 minutes of the game because I had to finish work.
You missed a lot, actually.
I missed the entire Denver's offense potentially doing anything in the rest of the game.
Yeah, you missed a lot of drama in the first probably 10 minutes of the game or so.
First 3 minutes, you get the snap, the safety. The fact I find that crazy is that the first play, the first scoring play of the first half and second half, coming out from 15 minutes, both took to the 12-second mark. That's just freaky weird.
That is just weird overall. But no, it's easy to say it in hindsight, but obviously that first snap where Peyton had no idea where that ball was going, which I was watching it with some coworkers who are very big CFL Saskatchewan Roughriders fans, and they said it was very eerily reminiscent of the play during the Grey Cup where Henry Burris just kind of had the ball snapped on him out of nowhere. And, you know, Saskatchewan's known for the 13th man. Seattle's known for the 12th man. Again, weird.
Yeah. Just didn't happen 13 seconds in, but yeah. But what did you think of the game overall? I know most people thought it was boring. You know, it had big plays, a lot of scoring. It was kind of one-sided with high scoring, but the game overall was pretty decent, other than the fact that the Broncos could not do much of really anything until the final 10 minutes.
Well, because I have no specific rooted interest in this game other than me picking the Broncos to win it. I didn't really care who won, other than, you know, it'd be nice if the Broncos won so I could be right. I found it boring just because there was no drama. Like I don't mind low scoring, tight football games like that where, you know, teams go 3 and out, but the defenses are really good. As long as it's both
competitive.
It's competitive, yeah. But there's no drama in the game. You know, what was it, 22-0 going into the half, and then
Percy Harvin taking it for the touchdown.
Exactly. That pretty much I would have been fine to not watch the rest of the game after Percy Harvin's touchdown.
Yeah, I thought that too. It's like I was at this Super Bowl party with friends, and after that point, I just kind of allowed people just talking around with each other because we all knew the score at the end of the game. It didn't really matter. It kind of reminded me. This is gonna sound kind of homer. So kind of the Tampa Bay Oakland game. that happened like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay blew them out early, and I was a Tampa Bay fan. I even like, this is kind of boring at this point. Like, I already know, like, I was watching with friends. We started playing Madden. Like, this is over. Like, my team won the Super Bowl.
With after the touchdown in the fourth quarter, I forget who it was. It was the Curse touchdown where he broke like 3 tackles.
Yeah, spinning like one Barishnikov, like spinning out all those tackles.
No, sorry. It was the Baldwin touchdown.
Which one?
The one in the fourth quarter.
Okay, yeah.
I believe that was the one where we stopped watching. Because we're like, okay, well now it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you said it. You went to watch Matt. You went to play Madden. At my party, I ended up having to defend my honor as an NHL 14 player, and that's something I did not expect. But
did you win?
Oh, I won. Yeah, I crushed. I'm not
just
even,
like the Seahawks.
I'm not even saying that to brag. I actually won pretty handily. And I was the Leafs too. It wasn't like I was like the Blackhawks or anything like that, being cheap like that. I was the Leafs.
I don't know. The Leafs got some depth. They got some decent goaltending.
Yeah, well, not necessarily in NHL 14 though.
Yeah, I'm playing NHL 14.
Bernier is only like an 83. Anyway,
we're getting a little
completely off topic because you know what? This is what happened during the Super Bowl. You just ended up talking about other stuff and not caring about the football game because it was boring. At least I found it boring. Like it was fascinating to watch Seattle shut down probably the greatest offense or what
I'm
the
actually
greatest
looking at the
offense in
stats
history.
here. Oh, that's a terrible looking stat line. Like Russell Wilson, 18 for 25 for 206, 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty good stat line.
Managed the game well.
Yeah. Percy Harvin had more rushing yards than Marshawn Lynch.
But see, the thing is, I think what helped Russell Wilson along throughout that game was just it wasn't so much. Of course, it wasn't the numbers Marshawn Lynch put up, but it was the threat of Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah. And the fact that Seattle constantly had short fields, they didn't have to really drive the field.
That's also very true. Their defense put them on great field position for most of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing. I thought Russell Wilson did a great job managing the game, and he only had like 46 yards or 42 yards, 45 yards. No, that was 26. I'm getting that number right. It was 26 yards rushing.
But they were key scrambles to get close to first downs or get a first down.
So that's why, you know what, everyone was talking. I was one of the ones who thought, Peyton Manning's experience in this situation was going to do
Take
well
over,
for him.
yeah.
But you know what? When you have a defense as good as Seattle, no matter how much experience you have, doesn't mean you can make the throws.
I'll use the old adage, defense wins championships.
Okay.
It's been proven over and over.
I'm sick of that adage.
It's proven, though.
No, I know, but I was listening to Tim and Sid today, and they made a really good point.
What's the point?
I was giving it some room to breathe, okay? He made a really good point. Peyton Manning's offense got him to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And it's not like any other defense stopped him or had a chance to stop him in the entire run, other than maybe Kansas City, who kind of slowed him down in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
No other defense came close to stopping him.
Yeah.
I think any team you put into Denver's shoes that game gets crushed by the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks were going to win anyways.
Yes,
but
I don't think that, because we've seen times where offense demolishes defenses in championships.
It's true, but it's usually not a number one scoring defense, though.
San Francisco against Denver back in the day. Montana versus Elway.
Yeah, but
number one offense, San Francisco. Number one defense, Denver. And San Francisco won like 55-10.
That was just a fluke.
No, I'm just saying it's not all.
No, I know.
Offense can, like, I'm prepared to say that defense. If I'm gonna have a 1-game playoff each time, I should probably start leaning to the team with the better defense.
Mm-hmm.
But offense gets you there.
Oh yeah. Defense usually steps up in the big games because they need to kind of like hold their ground. But the offense is the thing that gets you there throughout the entire season. I can agree with you for that.
Yeah.
But Denver's defense just wasn't good enough in the long run. Losing Dumerville early on in the season and just the injuries and suspensions and just all that sort of stuff. And Seattle had a great game plan. Like, starting, they don't have the spectacular weapons. Like Percy Harvin had a decent game, but
And Percy Harvin has been.
He wasn't featured very much, other than the kick return and
Well, he also
the
didn't
end
play
around.
for like the entire year
Exactly.
because
So
of injuries.
they did this all with nothing.
Yeah.
Can you name a receiver if you weren't looking at their stat line? I couldn't.
I'm not looking at the
Other
stat
than like maybe Golden Tate off the top of my
Doug
head.
Baldwin.
That's about it.
I don't know his. I think it's Austin Curse. I don't know his first name. It's
Uh,
Curse. He made a name for himself in this game.
yeah. Jordan
It's
Curse.
Jay.
Jermaine.
No, whatever.
Jermaine.
But he made his last name known in this game.
Not his first name, but his last.
Zach Miller is the tight end, I believe.
Yep.
So you can name players on this team, but they're not the same. But you know what? If you like,
It's kind of like Tom Brady when he won Super Bowls. He won with nothing at wide receiver.
I wouldn't say Doug Baldwin and Golden Tate are nothing though.
Well, you gotta think.
They're quality receivers.
Well, you gotta think. Deion Branch he's not a bad receiver, but he's not like Randy Moss. He's not Demarcus Thomas. He's not Wes Welker. And apparently Wes Welker's 0-3 in the Super Bowl now.
Brady didn't win a title with Randy Moss either.
Well, I'm just saying he didn't have those type of weapons. Like Wes Welker's
But when he
been
did, he
0-3.
lost.
I know. But I'm just saying, like,
Because
the Jerry Rices of the world.
Okay,
Like those big time receivers.
that's fine. I see what your point is. I don't know. I don't think you can sell this Seattle offense short anymore.
No.
I mean, granted, their defense put them in great scoring position the entire game, but there were drives where they went the field.
Yeah. They did enough to win. That's all they needed to do.
Yeah.
They had their defense down on their heads. They had Denver self-destruct. And then they took advantage. That's all you can really ask of a championship team, and that's why they're Super Bowl champs.
And despite the terrible offense that Denver put on the field, they still set 2 offensive records. They set Peyton Manning as the most completions now in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and Demaryius Thomas now as the most receptions in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Surprisingly,
A very quiet 13 receptions.
Yeah, for 118.
All of a sudden, I saw on Twitter that he broke a record, and I was like, "Wait, what? No, that's not right."
There's a lot of dink and ducks.
And I think that worked in. That is exactly what Seattle wanted.
Yeah, instead of the
They
big plays.
Sherman called out Manning's arm in the press conferences before the game, I should say.
Throwing ducks.
Throwing ducks, and you know what? He said,
proved it.
They pretty much said, "You're gonna have to beat us long. We'll give you the
short things and punish you."
Yeah, that's the words I'm looking for.
that Cam Chancellor hit in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Once I saw that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, and Seattle set the tone with their physical play on the receivers too.
Yep.
It's exactly what Manning's offenses hated in Indianapolis too.
They don't like being jammed at the line. They want to run free.
Exactly. I don't know. I was disappointed in the Super Bowl.
I wasn't disappointed.
I had such great expectations because I thought it was just going to be I had already penciled it down as an instant classic based on you knew what Manning could bring and you knew what the Seattle defense could bring.
All right,
I just thought it was going to be a very down to the wire game.
All right. With that in mind, we're getting kind of long here. 2 questions before we cut something else.
All right.
How scared are you of Seattle's team going forward because they are the youngest team in the league and they just won the Super Bowl? And what do you think this does for? We know we talked about last night Peyton's legacy.
Okay. Terrified, first of all. If they can keep everyone together, contract-wise, I think it's a terrifying situation. And now that Pete Carroll can legally pay players, I think he's going to be able to.
That's be a hot ground to go.
Yeah, and there's so much that he's going to be able to, that this win does. It showcases how Pete Carroll can win. He's only the 3rd coach to ever win a national championship in the college ranks and Super Bowl. It shows how dedicated Seahawks fans are. I mean, granted, some of them got really annoying on the internet.
Yeah, but if your team just won the Super Bowl, I'd be annoying too.
I'm talking about before the Super Bowl.
Like getting a tattoo of yourself saying you're the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, even though a guy in Denver did it too, but that didn't get as much press because it wasn't Seattle.
Yeah.
And third, that 12th man is just going to be such an enticing thing to bring. It's a winning atmosphere, and you've got that huge crowd behind you.
Yeah, agreed.
I think it's going to be a huge destination for free agents. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing players take pay cuts to play there.
Yeah, but you got to think they have their first round pick this year, which they didn't have last year because of Percy. So they're just going to add even more young talent.
Yeah, but it's going to be the 32nd overall pick.
Still, talent's talent.
I know.
They've been finding people in the 7th round.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like they have Minnesota's first round pick or something. Like they swap picks in the trade or something.
Yeah.
It's not like that. But still, no, I understand. Getting the first pick's huge. So are you in the same boat that you think it's terrifying and Peyton Manning's legacy, that's the thing. You know what? As much as he played poorly in that game, the defense didn't get Seattle off the field on third down.
Yeah. Clutch.
So you can't really
fault.
Peyton didn't play defense. Peyton doesn't, stop kick. He's not on special teams to stop Percy Harvin's kick return.
There's still 52 guys on the field other than Peyton Manning, or 51 guys.
Exactly. So it shouldn't, it does affect his legacy that he can't. I think it doesn't do as much damage as you thought, but it also doesn't propel him to new heights that the win could have. I think he's probably just going to stay the same where he was, legacy-wise. He'll have a little, if not a little bit lower, just because he couldn't win.
The little asterisk, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
So that's my opinion on it.
No, I agree with both of those facts.
My question for you is, we talked about terrifying. How terrifying is Seattle's defense going to be in Madden next year?
Depends. They have a couple free agents. Earl Thomas, I think his contract's up. That's a big one. Eventually they'll get Browner back too because they didn't even have him for the year because he was up for suspension for the marijuana. So
was it marijuana or was it PEDs?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was marijuana, but you never know with the Seattle team. Oh, it's probably PEDs. Sorry, Seattle. Michael Bennett, big contributors, a free agent. I don't think they're going to keep him. Yeah, I think they need to get another receiving weapon.
No, I don't care about their offense. I'm talking about how scary is their defense.
Oh, the defense. Sorry, my mistake. Their defensive line should be fine. They'll have KJ right back for hopefully the entire year. That's a young athletic group. If they can get another defensive end to take over for Bennett, because he's probably even a free agency. Yeah.
Well, they did pretty much roll two lines of defensive linemen out there.
Yeah, they'll be fine. That team's just gonna be scary men overall. There's no weaknesses other than wide receiver and tight end.
Mm-hmm. Well, you wanted to move on, so let's move on. And you know what? You know what starts in 3 days?
What starts in 3 days, Brett?
The Winter Olympics starts in 3 days. Thank you for answering my question.
No problem. I also forgot that it started in 3 days, because thank you for reminding me.
Well, you know what?
Oh, the 7th. Oh, yeah, shoot.
Yeah, 3 days.
4 days.
I'm not counting today.
Oh, yeah, okay, 3 days.
Because there are activities on Thursday, so. Anyways, that being said, you didn't even know it was 3 days until the Olympics. So, do you care about the Winter Olympics? Or do you care about the Olympics being in a couple days, I should say?
You know what? I do. I did not realize what time of the didn't realize what time of the month it was. It sounds kind of bad. That's staying in my head.
You didn't know what date it was.
Let's go there. Thank you. I appreciate that. If you could cut the other part out, that'd be fantastic.
Nope, that's staying in there.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah, I love the Winter Olympics. There's very few events I can't think. I love the cross country skiing,
okay.
Bobsledding, luge, hockey, ski jumping, skiing, aerial, snowboarding. I can't think of an event I just don't like. Curling. I like watching curling. The only thing I don't really like is figure skating. That's because I'm a guy. Like every other sport, I can't think of one sport of the Winter Olympics. I don't say if it was on TV and I had time to watch it, I wouldn't sit down and watch.
Well, that's true. I'm part of this camp that likes the Winter Olympics a lot more than the Summer Olympics. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll sit when the big events are on, like the track and field.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I watch. That's like appointment viewing. But anything else, really, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, I got to be on the TV for this event.
It's not like baseball's like their big sport there, or football, basketball and track and field. That's it.
Well, track and field, and see the thing is with basketball for so many years it was just so
US.
dominated by U.S. that sure, it was nice to see all these guys playing
Yugoslavia,
together, but
or
it was,
other countries that might jump up, but
it just wasn't entertaining because it was a Seattle versus Denver all the time.
yeah.
So no, I very much like the Winter Olympics, and like you, I could pretty much watch anything that the Winter Olympics throws out at you.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait for, especially when Olympic hockey. This
Yes.
tournament's gonna be fantastic. Like,
Fantastic.
usually Canada's predicted to be the winner. I don't even know. I don't know if Canada will even medal. There's just so much talent in every team this year. Like Sweden, Russia. The U.S. is gonna have a good, gritty young team. Even if they don't do well, they're gonna build for the next Olympics where they're probably gonna be beasts. So I have no idea. Canada might go from nothing to gold, or I have no idea.
Here's my theory on Russia, and I'm going to throw it out here before we get into anything. I hate Russia, at least Russia hockey. I hate Russian hockey. So I'm throwing that out there. I think there's going to be two outcomes for the Russians this year at the Olympics.
Gold.
They're going to win gold, or they're going to crumble under the pressure.
Yep.
It's going to be one of the two.
Oh, 100%. You know what? I would love to see Canada Russian gold medal.
I would not. That terrifies me. As a Canadian, okay, I'm just putting on my Team Canada hat right now.
Oh,
that is an absolutely terrifying gold medal game.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm looking at it more like hockey standpoint. Like just watching it be. Oh, I'm clearly going to be rooting for Canada. But if I see Russia Canada, the heat's just going to be raised. Canada will shut down. Every ball will be packed to the gills, and it'll just be awesome. If we lose, it'd be terrible.
No, that matchup terrifies me.
Oh, 100%.
Every single team is a good team, to some extent.
Germany,
Norway, but just to call a couple out, I guess. But it's when you get into, especially if it's a gold medal game against Russia in their building, that's just terrifying.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it'll be a great game. Do I want to see that game? Yes.
No.
Do I want to see that game, like, as a Canadian fan? No.
No. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would like to watch, that would be a nice game, but I would not be able to sit down the entire game. I'd be pacing around either my apartment or the newsroom.
Yeah, I'd be yelling. My voice would be done.
I mean, I get worked up during the World Juniors. I can't imagine what it'd be like during the Olympic hockey tournament.
No, I can agree. The last time when the Sidney Crosby goal, I was yelling at Crosby the entire game, do something, you asshole. And then he finally scored.
And he didn't do anything the entire tournament, too. And everyone forgets that.
Yeah, he was very quiet.
Because he scored the golden goal. Jonathan Toews was probably the best player in that tournament for them.
And hopefully he is again.
Well, I hope they all play their best.
True.
But no, I think if we're just going to throw out predictions right now,
who you got?
Sweden, Canada, States.
Ooh, interesting.
I think when you have Henrik Lundqvist in net, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Carey Price. I think he's a fine goalie. Same with Roberto Luongo. And I guess you can throw Mike Smith in there. He's not going to play, but he's not King Henry. He's King Henrik, and Lundqvist has proven throughout playoffs. He's pretty much carried Rangers teams to playoffs on his back.
Yeah.
When you get a Sweden team, when you have a line of like the Sedins and Louis Eriksson or something like that, that's just gives me goosebumps.
You know what? I'm not even gonna throw out a guess at Canada or US where everyone's gonna finish. I have no idea. I'm not even gonna pretend to think. It's gonna be a wild tournament. Russia's gonna be up there. Sweden's gonna be up there. It's gonna be a crazy final.
Just one thing to throw out there, that Canada hasn't won a gold medal away from North America in over 50 years.
Not a good sign.
No. I mean, they have one, I believe Salt Lake City was the Olympic-sized ice.
Yes.
But they didn't, I think they finished like 7th or 8th in Turin.
Turin. Okay, one question before we move on again.
Okay.
What do you think about moving the international ice over to the NHL? I've always wanted it because I like the much more wide open style of play, but you're a much more bigger hockey guy than I am. What do you think? Do you think that might ever happen, or do you think the NHL will just stick with their ice size, or what's your opinions?
Well, when I was in Belleville for school, the Yarman Arena, shout out to Yarman Arena, they have the Olympic size ice for their OHL team. And to be honest, I didn't play style wise because I went to Kingston a lot to cover the Frontenacs for Canadian Press. I didn't notice that much play style difference.
Really?
I don't know if that was because of the team.
It wasn't as high level hockey?
Well, not even that, but like maybe it was just because Kingston was so fast because they had a really young and quick team that it kind of negated the speed in the open ice that was created by the big ice.
Maybe.
But do I think it's going to come to the NHL? No. It costs way too much money for arenas to retrofit it to knock out seats and put in the Olympic size ice.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt I doubt an owner in Phoenix is gonna want to spend that money to A, renovate the arena, and B, give up seats that close to the ice too, which is prime real estate for money.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just like the style, especially for NHL hockey. I just find it a little more wide open.
I agree with you on that it can be more wide open. And when you get talents like Datsuk and someone like Sidney Crosby, Steven Stamkos, Alexander Ovechkin, the Sedins, if you give them the wide open big ice, they'll make magic on it. Of getting Malkin too, but I just think that it's not economically feasible for the NHL to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just would like to see it, but I know it'll never happen. Just wanted your opinions.
Just buy NHL 14 and just play them all in international ice again.
I can't, Brett. I have a PS4. Like you.
Maybe NHL 15 then, which will be on next gen.
There you
go. Okay. Last topic. We're completely shifting gears now. We've had about probably just over a week to react. Actually, kind of broke, I'd say, Tuesday morning last week that this broke. So if you're listening to this on Tuesday, because we're recording this Monday night, during this event, so you had a little preview of it. Anyway, CM Punk just kind of walked away. He pulled a Steve Austin and took his ball and went home.
And the WWE suffered for it. Well, the WWE universe, as they like to call it. It sucked. The fact that CM Punk's not going to be here unless this is the king shoot of all time. Because they're going all out if they're doing it like this.
Yeah.
Because unfollowing him on Twitter, getting rid of him off the website and everything.
I heard he's back on the website.
No, apparently I was just reading. They just pulled one of his face off the Raw promo on the website.
Because his character bio was apparently still under Raw's page. Or still on the Superstars page for a while.
Well, maybe they're still, unless like this, maybe it's what they should have done the first time when Punk had his big, like fireball moment where he's like shoot a pipe bomb. Like this, maybe this is what they should have done then and just completely said like he's gone, like good riddance sort of thing.
But see, at that time he actually had planned to have left. Like they knew he was gonna leave, and he was actually out the door. That wasn't a storyline.
Yeah.
He was ready to leave then, apparently, and they gave him an offer that he couldn't refuse, is what he said. So I just think that, to be honest with you, when he didn't show up on Raw the next night after the Royal Rumble, I didn't even notice. I love CM Punk. I think he's a fantastic worker. He's great on the mic, but it was just that particular episode, I didn't notice.
Yeah. I think the WWE has enough talent where they can kind of move up. They still have, like, Dolph. Like, Barrett. I like Barrett. They can push. Big E, which you know who I love. Like, there's talent down there. They can start pushing towards. Cesaro's going to be the elimination champion. Antonio Cesaro. Yeah. So there's talent. So I don't think Punk's going to be missed too much. I personally think he's probably the best in the world right now. But it just sucks when you lose a high caliber talent like that.
You can always get a guy to fill in a spot. It's not going to have the same impact as it would if you built that guy up.
Yeah.
For example, like the thing that apparently set him off was Batista winning the Royal Rumble. Now I've read so many different backstage reports about what happened that I don't know which one is up and which way is down right now. So if I'm going off that, then he was pissed off that Batista won, or more importantly, that he didn't win, because that's all he has left to do. That's all he wants to do right now is to win
headline.
To headline WrestleMania.
Yeah,
So
I read a couple different things. There was the fact that he was originally supposed to win, but then they pulled it last second. I also heard that he had a concussion going into it, and the WWE knew about it, and they didn't really do anything about it. And during the match, he got even more concussed. That's why he was kind of on the ground a lot.
Well, I heard from how I heard it, I heard he suffered a concussion during the match.
I heard
That's why he had a lot of a lot of time in the corner to stay down.
Yeah, I heard that, but then I heard that he might have had concussion, like he had some issues going into the match, and the WWE still cleared him. And then after the match, like he was just completely done. And the fact that Kane eliminated him and how it happened, that just didn't sit right with him.
Yeah. And
this could be time for him to get away to get clear the concussion symptoms, because Dolph Ziggler took months and months and months, and that was during his big push. So maybe
he was actually only gone for about probably 6 weeks of not wrestling. Maybe 2 months of not wrestling, but he was back on TV after a month.
Yeah.
Just with no contact. But apparently Daniel Bryan suffered a concussion the week before the Rumble, and there he was diving through the ropes at Bray Wyatt and getting his head smashed into the barricade.
True, but he also has a pillow of a beard and softening kind of blow.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, it's kind of throwing a whole wrench in their WrestleMania plans, if all's led to be believed.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on there anymore. I think of theories, and it's just nothing's gonna come out the way I think it's gonna happen.
Because apparently Punk was supposed to fight Triple H.
Yeah, and now it might be Daniel Bryan.
Well, I don't think they have any other option. He's the only logical. Unless they just abandon that storyline.
Yeah, which I think they might.
Months and months of payoff. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it to bail on that storyline. I mean, it's been brewing since August.
True, but I think Daniel Bryan, you need to push him at this point.
It'll be 8 months.
You kind of need to push Bryan at this point. You need to push Bryan at this point. Because you're not going to push Batista, because I know he's going away for apparently signed 2-year contract, so he'll go away for 6 months. And then he'll be back.
He won't be away for 6 months.
Well, he's probably going to leave around May, and it won't be back till October-ish after he's done promoting Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's promoting for 6 months?
Well, yeah, I think reshoots. Promoting, because it's released, I think, June or early June, early July, I can't remember which month.
Yeah, so I don't
but he's also got to do promotion for all around the world, though. And that usually takes 2 months.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So, about September he should be back, so you can't have him win the championship. So whoever's facing, he's going to lose.
What? Yeah, that's true.
So
I don't know. I think if this is not a huge shoot, then it's completely thrown off their entire WrestleMania plan.
Yeah, I agree.
And before you guys are probably, if anyone ever comments on one of our YouTube videos, yeah, we know wrestling's fake,
but we still like it.
It's still fun. It's guys soap opera. Just give it to us. Just give it to us. Okay, that's enough about that. We're going to go into our high fives and face palms for, I guess, the last week? I don't remember when we did it last week.
Weekish.
Oh yeah, this is our 10th podcast.
Yeah, we've actually got some kind of a roll going.
Double digits. High five on that. It's worked out well every Monday. We've been able to do this Monday nights. Anyways, do you want to start off?
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess.
Last week you kind of ended on a depressing note, so. Yeah,
I'll go with something a little more cheery. The story of Malcolm Smith, Super Bowl MVP. If you didn't know who that was, because 99.9% of the people in the world didn't for last night. 7th round pick out of USC. Pete Carroll knows his Trojans and picked him up, and now 9 tackles, big fumble recovery, and then the pick for the touchdown. Well deserving of that MVP. Although most of the Seahawks defense were, Cam Chancellor especially. But great job to Malcolm Smith, did an awesome job. That defense really led them to that championship, and it's going to be scary going forward. That's my high five for the week, and my facepalm is the NFL's gouging of fans at the Super Bowl and their ridiculous pricing on different kinds of meal items and stuff like that. It's like $16 for a premium beer, $12 for sausage. What was it, $11 for a hot chocolate? $11 for a hot chocolate that I can go down to the Max Milk and get for like $1.50 right now. That's
You're gonna boil hot chocolate. You're just gonna boil chocolate, aren't you?
yes.
Just boiling chocolate.
I'm gonna drink it straight from the that's gross. But still, that's ridiculous. In fact, there was no tailgating and you couldn't drive into the stadium. You had to get shuttled pretty much there. That's ridiculous. That's something the NFL they're not going to work on because, well, it's the Super Bowl. People are going to pay it, but that's just terrible gouging of their consumers. Shame on you, NFL.
Okay, that's good. That's your rant.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you have to expect that they're going to ramp up the prices for an event like that, but it is still pretty ridiculous that that the prices were that bad.
Yeah, and considering how much we pay for a beer at the ACC, and I find this ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. I guess it's my turn. I'm going to start off with my fail, so we can end up on it's facepalm, I should say. So we can end on a good note. Yeah. So my facepalm goes to the coaches and players of the Eastern Conference who voted not to put Kyle Lowry into the All-Star game.
Shameful.
Now, granted, I get it. You might not want to put two Toronto Raptors into the All-Star game, and that's fine. But that doesn't excuse the fact that Joe Johnson was put into in place of Kyle Lowry. I would have been fine if it was Lance Stevenson instead of Kyle Lowry, but not Joe Johnson. I mean, Kyle Lowry has pretty much 17 points and 7.6 assists. That's his average on the year so far, and he's one of the best rebounding point guards in the league, if not the. So I don't understand. Like, people say that they didn't pick Lowry because he's not a star or he's not that big name, but you know what? There's no other way to get to make these players big names unless you put them in these situations. To make Kyle Lowry a big name, you put him at the big stage of the All-Star game and show him off. I mean, it's not the best competition, but at least his name's out there now. And then you can talk him up and be like, oh, he's had a great season in Toronto. This is why you should watch out for him. You don't do it by burying him and not putting him in the festivities. That's my facepalm.
Yep.
My high five goes to probably the best sporting game of the entire weekend, and that's Duke Syracuse. College basketball, an absolute thriller. Not available on Canadian TV. I had to find it online. Somehow. I'm not going to say how. Illegally. Anyways, Syracuse won, but not before Rasheed Sullivan heaved up a three-pointer with like less than 2 seconds left to tie the game, sending it to overtime, which then had another ridiculous finish where you could have argued that the Duke player, his name's escaping me right now, got fouled as he went for a big dunk attempt. Now, his name's Rodney Hood, I just remembered. Anyways, if I'm Rodney Hood, I don't go for the dunk to end all dunks in that situation. I might, stop and pull up he had a nice little hold in the Syracuse zone there. But still, it was a fantastic basketball game, fantastic sports game in general. I mean, if you didn't watch that game, you missed out. I'm just saying that. I mean, I'm a Duke fan. You'll throw it out there. And that's not why I'm picking this because, Duke lost. It was just a fantastic basketball game with a great ending. Two endings if you count the one that happened in regulation. So that's what I'm going with that. Can't wait for March Madness. That's going to be fantastic.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay.
College basketball just kind of tune out.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
Not saying there's anything wrong with it, just not my cup of tea.
Well, then you are not going to be on that college basketball podcast.
Well, considering I'm the only person that probably goes on these podcasts, I might be.
He's calling you out, everybody else who writes for this blog, and I'm going to make sure everyone else knows that. Anyways, that's all we've got for right now for today's episode 10 of the Sports by Schmucks podcast. You can follow Sean on Twitter at _Sean_ McD2, I believe is the correct Twitter handle.
Yep.
What do you got? What are you going to promote? You got the mock draft coming up soon,
Yep.
right? You're working
Finally,
on that?
now that I had to wait for the Super Bowl to end to see the official order. But I have the draft coming up. Still working on the free agents. Apparently there's a lot more that I'm throwing in there than I thought I didn't have to, but I'm going to. And yeah, just all football all day.
All right. Well, if you haven't checked it out already, started the Winnipeg Jets franchise. That video, the first video introduction one is up on the weekend. The second one, it's all processed, and I'm going to be uploading it after this podcast, so it should be out either probably tomorrow at some point, which is Tuesday. You can find that on our YouTube channel, which is where you might be watching this. If not, it's youtube.com/sportsbyschmucks. Follow us on Twitter at sportbyschmucks. Blogspot, our blog, sportsbyschmucks.blogspot.com. Or is it .ca? I think it's .ca.
I'm pretty sure it's .com. We should probably get this checked out.
Links in the description anyway, so click on that. My Twitter's in the
.ca.
description. It's at SmithBR10. There you go, it's .ca. I'm SmithBR10. You know what, thanks for listening, guys, and keep it safe out there, kids.